When I plan my attack, when I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone. One time on the MIC. When I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone. On the MIC.
Yeah. White on the track again, PPL is back again, coming for the Patty's twins, cause she the champion. It's the Pantheon Cup we all battle for. When rivals get to scrapping, it's a savage war. This is what we waited for. Finally, y'all, the time is here. Fantasy is back, my favorite fucking time of year. Light your bloods a tie now. PPL is live now, the show where shit gets real, dog. We're all after the pie now. Geno in the jet, he hosts the show, uploading videos. He does it all from A to Z. You like the league to pay the fee or win it all and play for free. Play to be the best or lazy. It's a league of competition, still the crown, that's the mission. Dog, it's time to get it cracking, plan your moves and start attacking. PPL is back in action, teams get mad, you know what happens. Hate each other, play with passion, build a team with trades and drafting. I think I done said my part, it's time for PPL to start.
When I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone.
PPL Live, Week 5. We are here. It's time to go. Let's jump right in. Let's get into our Week 4 scores. Starting with the Argonauts defeating the United Players, the Destroyers, 110-99. The Baby Gas team makes it 2 in a row, getting by the Mean Machine, 138-118. The Skulls show that they're for real, beat down the defending Omega champs, the GAF, 135-111. Only for the boss, leaves no doubt, put Squad Underestimated into panic mode, 158-117. And Patty's Twins, the Pantheon Cup 12 champions, find a way with a little Monday Night Magic and a little negligence from ATG to get it done, 100-96. Alrighty, we're going to jump into our final standings projections by Fantasy Trends presented by Snickers and show you our top 10. Started at number 10, the Gap Attack, still sitting at the bottom. Number 9, we've got the Mean Machine dropping 2 spots after dropping to 0-4. Number 8, for whatever reason, Patty Twins after the big win drops the spot, but we'll see what happens there. We got at number 7, the Baby Gas team rising up after the huge win and getting to 2-2. At number 6, Appease the Gods drops after their great start. They need to pick it back up. Number 5, Only for the Boss, despite leaving no doubt, for whatever reason, drops a spot. At number 4, Squad Underestimated holds steady. Snickers love Squad Underestimated. At number 3, we've got United Players the Destroyers holding tough after the loss. At 2, the last undefeated team, the Argonauts. And at number 1, the PPL Live darlings of the season, the Skulls, making a statement early on. All right, man, what do you see here in Fantasy Trends, Ulysses?
I don't know. I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what the metrics are. Only for the Boss are the best team. Why are they dropping? United Players, respect. Skulls, respect. BGT, respect. The rest of this, I don't understand.
Let's jump back to Week 4 for one last thing. The good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, man, give it to me, Ulysses. Good, bad, and ugly for your Week 4.
Good, only for the Boss. When the Chiefs ball, so does the Boss. He has multiple guys that have 30-plus potential each week. He's leaving no doubt going into a matchup that will determine the current top dog in alpha.
Right.
And it was just such a clutch matchup, and the way that they did it was in style.
Leave no doubt.
Leaving no doubt. We've talked about their need for running back production, and Chase Edmonds has shown himself capable, and that Arizona offense is looking pretty damn efficient. And so I think only Boss, they chose a real time to look good.
All right, man. What's your bad?
Bad, it's ATG. It was a story where keeping it real goes wrong. Ownership forgot rule number 1, don't fuck up. What are you doing picking up a Thursday D when you have solid options?
Right.
Rolled that dice with that Tennessee Titans head coach one too many times, and that was frankly a trend we saw by multiple owners taking HC losses this week,
right,
and then not starting the MVP what are you doing?
Yeah.
Then you factor in the injury bug finally hitting this team. Mixon's questionable. Montgomery's probably out the next few weeks, and he was really catching fire in that game.
Right.
Then you say the loss this week came to the Twins, puts them right back in the mix.
Right.
Damn, man, this was a bad week for ATG.
All right, man. And who got ugly?
Squad. Things have gotten ugly for Squad.
Ooh.
The new look squad could not get a key division win, and Chuba is no Christian.
Yeah.
Kyler and the Bills defense, I'll give him, are legit. They should be carrying a high-scoring team, but, I mean, I don't understand it's not translating into wins. I will say inconsistent effort has been a killer for Squad this year. It seems like each week he's having a guy or two not showing up.
Right.
Last week, it was Pitts and Brown.
Mm-hmm.
This week, it was Carson and Thielen, combining for less than 10 points. I mean, these are guys he needs to show up.
Yeah.
They're going to need to make a run to put themselves in playoff position, and their chances are good against the machine this week. But lose this game, and the Squad are off my playoff board, and it's week 5.
Oh, wow.
Shit is ugly for the Squad.
Okay. Wow, man. Oh, man, I didn't expect you to go that ugly on the Squad this early. It's still a lot of time, man. But for my good, man, I got to go with a team that's actually standing above Squad in the standings, and that's the Baby Gas team, man. This team should be 3-1 right now, and we know what we're talking about. They should have beaten the Argonauts in week 2, and they would be sitting pretty in that Alpha Conference right now. Instead, they're 2-2, but hey, they're swinging and they're punching and they're getting wins. I loved how they looked with DJ Moore. He was awesome this week. Deontay Johnson is coming through. They get Julio Jones back this week, and Tyler Boyd wasn't bad on Thursday night. They've got a great quarterback in Russell Wilson, and their running backs are serviceable, but that's probably the one spot that they need to get better at. But I think that this team has a lot of upside if they really start to pay attention. I think they got to fix their defensive issues. They got the Gaff attack coming up, a very winnable matchup. So things are looking very, very good for the Baby Gas team. For my bad, you know what, man? I'm going to have to go over here to the United Players, the Destroyers. This was actually the first bad week I felt like they had. Tom didn't show up. The only guy that came to the party was Derrick Henry. And this was a very, very winnable matchup for them. The Argonauts didn't have a great week. And United Players, they played actually worse than they did. So it was a bad week for them. The only reason it's only bad for them is because I really believe that they can bounce back this week against Patty's Twins, especially with Tom wanting to get right after that tough game in New England, despite the victory. So my bad would be the United Players, the Destroyers, and my ugly is it's ATG, but I'm gonna go a little bit at the Argo here too. Arrogance. That's what I'm seeing from these owners. We hear, a lot coming out of these camps. I guess the crystal ball was a little foggy this week. Why are you benching Ezekiel Elliott? Why are you benching Lamar Jackson? Both of these owners have talked about how these guys are franchise cornerstones. It didn't show up this week, and it bit ATG hard, and it really should have bit the Argonauts if the United Players had come with a pulse. Things got real ugly for the 2 last undefeated teams in the PPL, and it was based on decision making, and I'm not going to let that be overlooked. That said, let's move on to week 5 and jump into the pivotal matchups of this week, starting in our interconference matchup of the week as the Omega Conference's Gaff Attack takes on the Alpha Conference's Baby Gas team. All right, man, so here we go. The BGT easily could be 3-1, easily could be a team that could be the surprise team in the PPL. Instead, they're only one game back of that at 2-2, but it's a big game back. They get a huge matchup with the Gaff, who's at 0-4. We didn't even mention them this week in the good, bad, and ugly because it's been so ugly so far. What do you think of this matchup, BGT Gaff Attack?
Yeah, when I look at the Gaff, the loss last week was rough.
Okay.
Especially with the day that Jalen had. Cracking 30 points out of quarterback position, really looked like that could have been the spark.
Right.
As earlier reported, this team is in rebuild mode, which I actually think makes them a threat. They are going to be living on the waiver wire, free agency acquisition, and the Gaff has usually found success with this approach.
Right. This
team still lacks qualified depth and has heavy impacts to injuries. Claypool, Judy. It's still, this guy's not 100%.
Right.
You add in, as it stands, a suspect Vikings HC play, And
Yeah.
the Gav is saying not so fast to the Machine's quest for the number 1 draft pick. On the other side, BGT, back-to-back wins. You said it. I mean, it was good this week. BGT's right back in the hunt. Last week they were my good, and I was talking about how they were going to play Spoil Sport again. They absolutely should have won that matchup. I picked them to lose, so I mean, hats off. Deontay came back from injury.
Looking good.
Yeah, Jacobs finally coming back healthy. He's got a tougher matchup this week.
Definitely.
But the Raiders got punked, and I'm sure that they'll look to get right against Chicago. Let's hope that defense shows up. For me, Russ sets the pace for this team on Thursday night, though. I think they have, we've seen the Rams get exposed now. That defense is definitely not who we thought they were. And I think that Russ showed what he could do against another divisional defense, really carved up the 49ers. I don't see why he couldn't potentially do the same with the talent he has at receiver core. Exposure was a key theme last week. And I don't like the Giants' D pick, but the Dallas head coach should be a lock.
Yeah.
I've got the BGT in a grinder. They're going 123 to the Gas 115.
Gosh, as much as I want to agree with you, man, the BGT, that brother's close to my heart. But I'm got to go the other way, man. I got to keep it objective. I got to keep it a buck. And I'm going with the Gaff. And here's the reason why. The Gaff's commitment to trying to win every week. I trust that they want to win. No matter what happens, I know the Gaff wants to win. I question that with the BGT at times. Why haven't they gotten the Giants out of their lineup? I mean, there's a few things that they should do that would really help propel them forward, but they seem to be complacent. While I don't think the Gaff, even at 0-4, is going to sit at complacency. I love that D-Hop's back. I mean, I think D-Hop's going to have a big game. He's due, and I love his matchup against San Francisco. I don't think San Francisco, like I said, we've talked about the 49ers. I don't want to talk about them anymore. CeeDee Lamb against the New York Giants, he's due for a big, big game. And A.J. Brown comes back against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Those 3 plays can win the Gaff this matchup. We already mentioned what Jalen Hurts is capable of. I love the play there. And I like that the Gaff got busy on the wire. Go ahead, go get Damian Williams. Great matchup against the Raiders. With a rookie quarterback. Damian Williams should have been Super Bowl MVP 2 years ago. This is a guy that's got a lot of talent. I like that acquisition for the Gaff. He's got the best kicker in the game. I don't like that Minnesota head coach, but they still are playing the Detroit Lions, and I could see them definitely winning this game. On the BGT side, man, I'm looking at it like this. I love Russ. He's going to have a pretty good game, but that Rams D-line has given him issues in the past, and it may not even be 21. It may not be the explosive game he expects, but it should still be a solid day's work. I don't like Josh Jacobs against Chicago. I don't even like Mike Davis's usage. It's not Mike Davis against the Jets. It's Mike Davis's usage with the Atlanta Falcons. DJ Moore's a great play. I would get Boyd out of there against Green Bay, and I would probably go with AB or Julio. Noah Fant has proven to be a top tight end, and I do love Deontay Johnson, one of the bigger pieces he got in that trade with the Argo. And like you said, or like we both have said, the New York Giants defense is just something that leaves me scratching my head. I need to see more. I got the Gaff attack getting their first win of the season, bringing the BGT back to earth, 114 to the BGT's 108. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a crucial Omega Conference matchup as Patty's Twins, the Pantheon Cup champions, take on maybe the sliding United Players, the Destroyers. All right, man, so Patty's Twins got the magical Monday night victory. Austin Eckler, the hero, catching a TD, running for a TD to down appease the gods. On the United Players side, they just couldn't get what they expected. Belichick bamboozled Tom, and it really set up the Argonauts and Ryan Suckup to steal that victory from the United Players, the Destroyers. They've got to get right. The Twins have got to get right. 2-2. Seasons could be teetering here. What do you think, Patty's Twins, United Players, and Destroyers?
Yeah, Twins, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but a win's a win.
It is a win. Yes, sir.
The Twins put themselves in prime position to play spoiled sport to the UP's early season success in this game. Their opponent is reeling off back-to-back losses.
Right.
The Chargers are looking for real, and Eckler and Allen will feature if they stay healthy. Then you look at the matchups, and for the Twins, I think they're so-so this week.
Okay.
I think they'll obviously need to find more consistent tight end play.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an HC in there, and,
right.
and that. I mean, hell, they won that game with a big
coach loss.
head coach loss
yeah.
last week. they played the Rams coach, and again, Rams got exposed last week.
Right.
But I look at the other side, the UP, okay? The deciding factor here is which TB shows up this week, which Tom Brady and which Tampa Bay.
Right.
You know, because of the makeup of this team, as Tom Brady goes, so does the UP.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 weeks, I mean, again, the Rams actually were pretty effective against this team, and so were the Patriots. Again, I put that on Bill Belichick.
Right.
And, you know, they proved that they could be slowed down. Look at that this week. The Miami Depot poses a perfect get-right opportunity. Look at Tom Brady's stats against Miami.
Right.
He gets dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Not having Gronk should hurt. But because of the Higbee pickup and the Twins' lack of production at that position, he'll be fine there.
Okay.
I love the UP's matchups this week. Tom Brady in Tampa Bay against Miami. Henry has the Jags. Singletary has a suspect Kansas City run D. I'm not feeling the Kansas City head coach this week,
Okay.
but depending on what the Twins do, we may have our first meeting of the season without head coaches factoring in.
Right.
I've got the UP leaving no doubt this week.
Okay.
Staying in position for Omega. UP 155, Twins 128.
Okay. I mean, I picked the UP to leave no doubt last week, and they didn't come close. So I'm not going to go there again, but I agree with you. I think the United Players, the Destroyer, should get this victory. Tom is going to bounce back. Tom is he's a petty fella. I'm just going to leave it there. Tom didn't like getting showed up by that Belichick defense, and the Bucks won. No, Tom wanted to throw 3-4 TDs and for over 300 yards. None of that happened. Belichick got the laugh in the individual matchup, and I don't care what anybody says about that. Tom wants to get right this week. It's a home game. It's a Dolphins team that's not special at all. He knows Brian Flores, the head coach, because he was the DC in New England. So Tom's going to want to get some get right, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get Chris Godwin involved. Here's another guy that cost the United Players his matchup against the Argonauts, Cooper Kupp. Not him individually, it was more Matthew Stafford, but Cooper Kupp not having his production is what really slowed down the United Players. They've got nothing but production from this guy. He's the number one receiver in the PPL. He's got to step up again for the United Players to get back to what they did. The number one running back showed up, and I expect him to continue to show up. Now, on Patty's twin side, let's just call it what it is, man. ATG gave her that win. If he goes Lamar, it's an easy win. ATG still undefeated, and Patty's Twins is in panic mode, much like Squad Underestimated. Instead, Patty's Twins was given a reprieve. Lamar was benched, and Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Gibson, and especially Austin Eckler showed up. I'm with you on the tight end situation, though I do like the Dalton Schultz pickup. The Twins have got to figure it out on defense and at head coach, because that was really would have cost them that matchup. It wasn't really even HEG benching his guy. It was the fact that the Twins had a horrible coach pick with LA Rams. Now, it's understandable why they went there, but it shows how detrimental that could be to your week if the coach is not up to snuff. In the end, I got the United Players in a win here. I got them winning this matchup 129 to Patty's Twins 119. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Alpha Conference as two teams are swirling at the bottom of the Alpha Conference as we go into this matchup. Toilet bowl, perhaps. Porcelain bowl, perhaps. Maybe somebody will jump out of the toilet as Squad Underestimated takes on the Mean Machine. All right, man. So Squad Underestimated have lost 3 in a row after their huge Leave No Doubt week 1 against the Baby Gas team. And then, of course, the Mean Machine has not won a matchup yet. They've looked competitive at times. You can argue they could have won against the Argo. You can argue that they could have won against the BGT, but those were still L's. What do you think of this matchup? Squad Underestimated, you said things have gotten ugly. This matchup should make things very pretty for him, judging off from what I'm seeing. What you think, Squad and Mean Machine?
Yeah, I mean, Squad, I said it earlier, it's gotten ugly. I mean, 3 straight losses to, I would say, 3 projected playoff teams is not the look that they had in mind at this point in the season. Things look up, though, for the Squad. The antidote for everybody else who's needed a get-right week has been the Machine.
Right.
But, I mean, again, looking at the injuries, looking at lackluster play, this team just isn't as sexy as they were on draft night.
Okay.
I just don't get as excited when I look at the talent here. It hasn't, the formula just hasn't come together yet. Doesn't mean it could. This team's talented.
Right.
It just I haven't seen it gel, really. I mean, we saw glimpses week 1, but it's like, can you sustain that? And so far, we haven't.
Okay.
Machine, I mean, well, damn. I picked them to get their first win last week, and they got smoked. In one of their more competent performances, we just saw this team have sparks but no fire.
Right.
They continue to struggle with a roster depleted by mismanagement and breaches in the PPL gift clause. I do like the Tampa Bay head coach combo this week. Talked about that. I've got Squad in a must-win to keep their season alive.
Yeah.
116 to the Machine's 107.
Oh, wow, man. That's much closer than I've got this matchup, man. Look, man, if I didn't know no better, I would have thought that the Mean Machine's giving this game away. Who's the best player on the Mean Machine?
Justin Herbert.
Is he in the lineup?
Not that I saw. No.
No, he's not, and that's why I'm wondering. Like, are you trying to win this week? I mean, I get it. He knows Squad. He knows that the Trey Lance play will annoy Squad, but other than that, that's all it's going to do. Trey Lance is making his first career start against a top 7 defense, and Justin Herbert is looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league against the Cleveland team that I think that he can exploit. I don't understand that start there, and I think that's part of the reason I've got Squad underestimated here. I love James Robinson. Aside from Urban Meyer, the Jags have looked a little better out there, but it doesn't look like it's going to translate going forward. I'm looking at Kenny Golladay. I love that play against the Dallas defense. I think that New York is going to have a lot of success against Dallas in a divisional matchup, and I think Kenny's actually going to be a part of that. So I actually do like that play. But I'm looking at A.J. Green. I understand Kyler Murray's his quarterback, but you're still you're sticking your hand in the dike and praying there. And I'm just not inspired by what the Mean Machine's throwing out there. Now on Squad side, nah, bruh, I love Kyler. Kyler's becoming quickly one of my favorite players in the game. Marquise Hollywood Brown, he's going to disappoint Squad because this is how it works. When he benches Hollywood, Hollywood goes off. When he plays Hollywood, Hollywood don't do shit. So I'm going to say Hollywood don't do shit, but I'm also thinking that Alvin Kamara bounces back. And, man, if Christian McCaffrey gets back in the lineup, you can't say the Squad underestimated isn't still a threat. I got Squad underestimated waking up with Christian McCaffrey in the lineup. 131 to the Mean Machine's 110. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into Omega for a game that on any other week would be the prestige matchup of the week, but we can't quite go there this time. But hey, I've got this one circled. Omega Conference Showdown as Appease the Gods at 3-1 takes on the PPL Live Darlings, the Skulls. The Skulls have been looking real good, man. All right, man, so here we go. Appease the Gods, Skulls. Skulls, after losing week 1, won 3 straight. ATG started the season winning 3 straight and have lost their last one. So these teams are kind of in an inverse situation here. Both of them can make a huge statement and put themselves out front in this Omega Conference. It's going to be a bloodbath. What do you think of this matchup, man? ATG and Lamar going against the Skulls and Josh Allen. The QB setup is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, shit got real for ATG when an old foe and the Twins got them thinking too much.
Right.
They caught the gal. Montgomery's injury only compounds the situation. The impact of this team having a talented RB, but they don't have all that depth. And so losing a guy like Montgomery is going to impact ATG's ability to stay competitive there.
Right.
They learned week 4 that they will and should ride or die with Lamar.
Right.
And with a Monday night matchup against a very bad Indy team, they will be calling on the MVP to save them this week.
Right.
And I think they'll need it. I mean, if ATG actually pulls this matchup off, I mean, I could see them being in a severe deficit at that point in time. And if Lamar and Andrews and
right.
ultimately Baltimore can win, they might play spoil sport here.
Okay.
However, I'm looking at the Skulls.
Right.
They are who we thought they were. And I think that they actually set the pace in Omega this week. Allen's looking deserving of the first-round pick.
Right.
A lot of guys had questionable first-round picks. Some people, multiple questionable first-round picks. You see a guy like Allen out there, you ride Allen. You ride the Bills, and the head coach was a great season play. They're not even the best team in the AFC, but I think right now they're the best team in that conference.
Right.
You have McLaurin balling, and damn, the Skulls have shaken off all doubts from that week 1 loss.
Right.
They have great matchups this week, and I think they cruise in a clash for Omega supremacies as ATG is just slowed up by injuries. I've got the Skulls going 146 to ATG's 127.
All right, man. You're gonna be surprised, but I'm gonna go the other way in this matchup as I'm looking at it more and more. I do like Josh Allen's play, and I think Kansas City's exploitable, but something gets weird when he plays the Chiefs. He doesn't quite play like he plays every other game. I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact that he feels like he has to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. I don't know, but I've noticed over the times that Josh Allen has played the Kansas City Chiefs, he just has not been the quarterback he is every other week. So I think that that's something to monitor there. Darrell Henderson, short week. He is still dealing with a rib injury. That could be slowed down. Cordero Patterson, typically when a guy goes off for I think this brother had like 38 points last week. He's number 3 at the running back position. Excuse me, he had 32 points. I don't know if he can just replicate that. It's going to be a game across seas. We'll see. It's not a bad play, but I don't know. I would probably be a little nervous about playing him just based off of how big that week is. I'm sure everybody's going to have their eyes on him. Terry McLaurin's playing against a good Saints defense. I know that they blew that game in New York, but their defense is good. And once again, 2 early plays for the Skulls. I think those might be tough. And I think Cincinnati's defense is a little better than people are giving them credit for. I know that they had a tough time with James Robinson, but I think that they're going to have their eyes on Aaron Jones. On the other side for ATG, they should be 4-0 right now. Getting cute and going with Teddy Bridgewater, it was something that, they typically don't do. This is a team that typically always starts their studs. I mean, they started the Lamar for MVP campaign extremely early this season, so it was just a head scratcher to see him out of the lineup. He's in the lineup this week, and he's playing a exploitable Indianapolis defense on Monday night. I expect Lamar to do the things that we expect him to do, especially with an extra day's rest to get ready. Saquon Barkley, man, he destroyed the Saints. He won that game for the New York Giants. He was a man amongst boys, and he's finally starting to get his legs back. He's starting to look like a true RB1, and that's exactly what APPEASE the guys needs with their RB injuries. I like Jamal Williams as a sneaky good play, and even if Jamal Williams doesn't play, Samaje Perine off the bench isn't bad. What I'm looking at for ATG is Tyler Lockett. I think that this is the game he gets done. I think DK Metcalf is going to draw Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be one of the things I think decides this matchup. I like the Baltimore coach on Monday night. Denver's defense, Big Ben is trash. I'm sorry, he's washed up. I'm not gonna say he's trash because the man's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, but he's seen better days, and I think that Denver defense is gonna give him another bad day. I like Brandon McManus. I think my ugly gets pretty. I got APPEASE the gods in the big upset, beating the Skulls 131 to the Skulls 127. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week, we go into Alpha, the top of the Alpha Conference, the penthouse of Alpha, as the boss and the Empire sit at the top, as Only for the Boss takes on the Argonauts. All right, man, so this is a matchup of last year's Final Four. Only for the Boss getting sweet revenge on the Argonauts in the Final Four after the Argos swept them in the regular season last year and going to Pantheon Cup 12 behind Patrick Mahomes and the crew. On the Argonaut side, obviously, they bring in Ezekiel Elliott, who had a huge day for them off the bench. Doesn't like they're going to make that mistake again. He's smack dab in the middle of that lineup, top RB. And, of course, Dak Prescott looking good. What do you think of this matchup? The Argonauts still undefeated. Some would argue, hey, these guys should really just be 2-2. And Only for the Boss, a team we really expected to be undefeated. This game's really set up well. What do you think of this one, man?
Yeah, Only for the Boss, you heard it earlier. It was a great week for the Boss. It sets up a prestige matchup of the week with that. If they don't win last week, or the Argo doesn't win last week, we're talking about the Skulls at 8.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, this one decides the pace setter in Alpha, and I think we all saw what this team's scoring potential is. It's through the roof, and honestly, that rough start, I think it bodes well for the Chiefs having to play for the long term. That, I think, hurt them. I think the new playoff structure is going to benefit this team.
Right.
But I say that thinking that the Chiefs struggle this week.
Okay.
You know, you say what you will about Josh Allen, but, you know, we saw a guy in Lamar who struggled against the Chiefs last few seasons, got it off his back. I think Allen might be in for the same kind of support, especially with how this Bills D, they are not playing. Posting 2 shutouts in 4 games in the NFL, in the modern NFL.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Offensive driven.
Yeah.
I don't like the Dolphins D against Tampa Bay, but I think Green Bay's a Lockett head coach. You know, I think, again, it comes down to do I think the Chiefs ball? The Chiefs have stumbled a bit this season. Again, I've talked through it. I think some teams have maybe not figured out the full formula necessarily, but they're starting to get at them. And again, with Allen's chemistry that this offense has developed, matched with this defense, I think that they're primed. Looking at the Argo, you said it, man. This team could be sitting at 2-2. Instead, they're 4-0. So, I mean, great win last week, regardless of the play. I mean, that's why you have the depth that they have. It wasn't their best offensive performance, but they got the UP on their first real scoring stumble of the season. True. And remain the only perfect team in the PPL, you know. Again, doesn't matter. It's a win's a win. Right. A lot of people would hold that against the BGT also. They're sitting at 2-2, and I think they should be a 3-1 team. So, you know, you can't let this early record necessarily dictate the team. Saying that, you know, the Cowboys are legit all around. I see Zeke getting back to locksteds. Yeah. I had expected a trade, but he's been looking untouchable when I look at some of these other guys.
There's no need for a trade.
No, I'm looking at you, Dalvin Cook. The Argo have some fortunate schedule this week, as he's got 6 of 10 matchups playing against the Giants, Lions, and Texans. You add in Buffalo against KC playing. I've got the Argo staying perfect against their biggest conference threat and GENO, your champs. I've got Argo going 142 to the Boston 131.
All right, man. I'm going the other way. You already know I'm going the other way. The Argonaut Empire, are those pillars crumbling? Because despite what you say, yeah, they're 4-0, but they're a vulnerable, very, very vulnerable 4-0. They're not even anywhere near the top scoring team in the league. So that 4-0 is a little bit inflated. I'm looking at it only for the boss team that can struggle all day. Let me tell you this. They're going to struggle. They might struggle all day. The Argonauts might jump to a 40, 50, 60, 70-point lead. And then Sunday Night Football is going to come. And not only is the Argonauts going to have to worry about Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce, but you just talked about how you thought Josh Allen was going to have a big game, right? Stephon Diggs is due. Stephon Diggs is due, and that's the boss's number 2 receiver. So no matter what the Argonauts do throughout the day, I feel like by the time we get to Sunday Night Football, the boss could be in for a 100-point explosion, and there'll be nothing the Argonauts can do about it. They'll be done scoring by then. I do like that their matchups are great, but we've seen great matchups turn into average matchups. And I think that the Chiefs have something to prove against Buffalo. This is a team that everybody's starting to talk about. Oh, they, like you said, they got 2 shutouts in the last 4 weeks. Who would love to put up 40 points on a team that has 2 shutouts this season? Andy Reid and the Chiefs, and I think that they have a great chance to. I love the Chase Edmonds play. And let's talk about Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is also playing those New York Giants that Dak and Ezekiel Elliott are playing against. Let's say that touchdown doesn't go to Zeke this week and it goes to Tony Pollard. That swings this matchup huge. I got only for the boss in a big, big performance, defeating the Argonauts 155 to the Argonauts 141. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another week of PPL Live. Ulysses S. Hayton, GENO the Gent, signing off. Get the week started tomorrow with the Rams and the Seahawks. The BGT trying to jump out front against the Gaff attack. And we'll also see what DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett can do in their matchup with the Skulls and ATG. And then, of course, we close out on Monday Night Football, seeing if Appease the Gods can get that one back in the Omega Conference behind a big effort from Lamar Jackson and those Baltimore Ravens. You guys have a great weekend.